Good afternoon. Today's video is dedicated to the CD. The CD was invented in 1979. I was a senior in high school. The first CD was released in 1982. And CD players, when they first came out, were $1,000. So I know all you people in the 59, 60-year-old age group, we still had that 8-track cartridge shoved in that slot with the matchbook or the toothpick wedging it to one side so it only played that one track, and cassettes. And then once these CDs took off, you had Columbia House, BMG. BMG offered you 12 CDs for a penny, provided you bought 10 within a 1-year period. So anybody in my age group has racked up a ton of CDs. But today's the digital age. All your media is intangible. But if you're like me and you still got all this old media, you just don't want to just pack it in boxes and put it away in a cabinet. So when CDs were big, I bought this CD tower. This CD tower, I think, holds 1,200 CDs or something like that. And it was great for a while, but the thing doesn't turn worth a shit anymore. And the problem is they didn't use a bearing for the swivel. They used some, I don't know, half-assed piece of plastic, fiberglass, like needle bearing rollers or something. I don't think there's any metal in that whatsoever. And I paid about $500 for this back in the early 90s. I looked into buying a bigger one because I can fill this up. Over this past year, I have found a lot of people wanting to get rid of their CDs. I guess a lot of people think that CDs are no more. Well, you know what? A CD is lossless format. If you stream music, you're getting 44.1 kilohertz, 16-bit, and that's what a CD is. Yeah, they got high res, they got MQA. There's a lot of formats that are higher than this, but the CD is lossless. I mean, this is great quality. And to pack these in boxes and put them in a closet, it's going to take up a lot of room. I can stack them to the ceiling, putting it on one of these things. So I looked into buying another one. They're like $300-400. But when you read the fine print, it says they support up to 400 pounds. So you get a 1600 CD carousel that supports 400 pounds. Well, guess what? 4 CDs weigh 1 pound. So 1600 divided by 4 is 400. So if you were to fill that up, you already have 400 pounds of CD, and you're not even taking into account the weight of this fixture, which is probably 60 or 70 pounds. So instead of buying a new one, I'm going to overhaul this one for $16.98. Okay, so I went to Amazon. I bought this 12-inch Lazy Susan from Woodpeckers. Reason I bought this one, it's rated for 1,000 pounds. It's made in the USA. And boy, this thing spins nice. You know what, hey, let's give this a test spin. Okay, we're gonna put this Lazy Susan on a nice piece of wood, and we're gonna put another piece of wood right on top. We're gonna load test this. What's the last thing a redneck says before he dies? Hey, hold my beer. Okay, here we go. 160 pounds on the Lazy Susan. Maybe a spin class. All right, so the load test, as far as I'm concerned, is good. All right. Let's overhaul this CD tower for $16.99 before I bust my ass. I just had a flashback. I have had this apart one time before. Now that I see all that sawdust on the carpet right here, because back in the 2000s when everybody had a projection television, I couldn't have my audio gear out with the television because the television was so damn big. All the audio gear was in here, and these wall plates passed all the audio video through the closet to the family room. So all this sawdust is just telling you that there's no bearing in there. This is a fine piece of shit. Look at that. All right, let's take this apart. If you want to find an example of a don't, here it is. That's eating a groove in the base of the CD tower. This is a plastic piece of shit, and that's got a groove worn through it too. Boy, that's a beauty. I paid $500 for this. You believe that? Plastic. Everything is plastic. All right, we're gonna give this an overhaul. All right, so here's the original piece of shit plastic bearing. And here's our new 1,000 pound woodpecker bearing. And that's gonna fit on there nice. This has a hole in it. So you'll see that as you spin this around, you can put screws in. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna mount, I'll end up finding a place to mount this. And I'm gonna drill that big ass hole in this plate, so as I rotate this around, I can put screws in to mount this bearing to the bottom of this piece, like this. You'd think the manufacturer could do that for an extra, I'd rather pay an extra $20 for this thing and not have to do anything than to go what I'm going through now. Okay, so I know where that center hole is, so I put tape across, made a cross. Then I used this T-square, and I marked me 1/2 inch increments outside that ring. And then we got these big ass holes right here. Well, I laid that on there, I centered that up, and I marked where those big holes are. So I'm going to drill like 5/8 holes through this board. So these big holes go all the way through. I'll mount this to this board, and I'll use this screw to center this up to the tower. And this thing will be better than the manufactured product. I drilled the big hole in here, and now we're going to mount the ring to the bottom. We'll line up the two big holes, and we'll line up the circle pieces that I drew in there. And there's 4 holes in here, and that's where I'm going to put screws. I just randomly went in the garage. I've got these number 6 screws. They're 1/2 inch long. This piece of wood is 5/8 in thickness. So I got me a 1/8 inch drill bit with these tiny little screws. I put tape on this drill bit because I don't want to go any deeper than that. I want to make just enough room for the tip of that screw to go in, and it'll thread right in just fine. You don't want to go through the wood. There she is. We got the bottom plate mounted to the bottom base. And these don't have to be monster screws that are strong, because once you load this up with CDs, this thing isn't going anywhere, and you'll never move it fully loaded. So you just need to have this hold together till you stand it upright. Okay, so you have to pick the carousel up high enough to let this spin in a full circle. Because we're going to use this hole to locate all the holes in that metal ring, and we're going to put screws in through this hole into this base. And we're going to use the same drill with the tape, just enough to put a little hole in it to get you a starter hole for the screw. All right, I'm going to put these screws in. So there's screw 1. And you rotate this around. Got screw 2. We'll go back around, we'll go around some more. There's screw number 3. There's screw number 4. Okay, we're gonna stand this upright. She's done. Okay, first operational test. Ooh, that thing spins nice. CDs are gonna fly out of this thing if I spin it too fast. That's a great fix for 17 bucks. All right, we're gonna load this baby up with 300-400 pounds of CDs and see how she spins then. All right, the rest of the CDs to fill this are off to the side. They're not alphabetized. I'm anal, so I gotta sort them before I put them in here. So the 60 pounds of CDs that I don't have in this rack have been compensated with 120 pounds of cooking pellets. I got 3 40-pound bags on top. Boy, look at that baby spin. Why the manufacturer can't jack the price of this thing 20 bucks and put a real bearing in there is beyond me, instead of selling you that plastic piece of shit. I don't get it. But there you go. Actually, this is my second Lazy Susan. I divorced my first Lazy Susan and she took half the damn CDs when she left. But this one's gonna give me no trouble. It'll last me the rest of my life. So there you go. There's your CD tower overhaul for 18 bucks if you have Prime, no shipping. And it's a piece of cake. That bearing doesn't have to be perfect on the bottom. You just gotta hold it on there enough to get this thing upright, because there's no way you're gonna move this with all this weight on this anyway, so you'll have to take it apart. Here's the irony of this whole thing. I'll probably never put any of these CDs in my CD player ever again, because I've ripped all of these CDs to my home music server. But these are kind of like the knickknacks grandma used to have. You know? You can't put the Pink Floyd boxed set with the Prism logo in the closet where nobody can see it. You can't put the Pink Floyd Pulse CD in the closet where nobody can see it. It's got a little blinking light here. This is history. And the 2 AA's in this probably last 10 years. Well, I hope somebody can use this CD swivel tower upgrade. Piece of cake. Cheers with an icy cold gin and tonic. Thanks for watching. Happy CDing. Take care.